Hi, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Leather Leone.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
It's time once again for the Weekly Pour, the show that knows everything about absolutely nothing. Here are your hosts, TBT and Ace.
Holy moly, we're back. It's 2025.
Who are you?
Hi, I am Bob. Anyway, what's up? I'm TBT. That guy over there is Ace. This is the Weekly Pour podcast, Season 4, Episode 1, the first episode of 2025, because, you know, we threw 2024 to the sticks and said, yeah, screw you, we're gone. So here we are. That's about it.
Yeah, well, 2024 was a bit of a rough year all the way around, so I'm glad that we get a fresh start in 2025.
Agreed.
You know, you can say that about a lot of years, though. I mean, there's a lot of people, they can say it. How many people say, man, it was a great year in 2024. I hope to never, ever leave it.
Yeah. I said that about 1987.
Right.
87 was a good year. So if you're joining us for the first time, we are in the chat on the YouTubes, where you're probably watching this, or in the Book of Face, because that's where we have this thing going too. We got some people in the chat already. Shannon's in there. Nat McFick is there. Mama TBT, of course, Pam and Mrs. TBT, and Kathy. Kathy is there. And I don't see our moderator.
Where is she?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm just gonna. I don't think she's there. That's okay.
If you don't see her, I don't see her.
Okay, perfect. I mean, it's not like it's 2025. Nothing's gonna change.
Right.
Just because it's the first episode and she was there before we ever went on the air, I'm not gonna recognize that. Just because. But anyway,
she would want a pat on the back. That's
right. Appreciate everybody jumping into the chat. Type your name, say hello, hit that thumbs up, hit subscribe. If you hit that subscribe button, that'll let you know when we're getting ready to go live for a new episode. If you are listening to this in your vehicle, don't turn it up too loud, because you need to be able to hear people honking at you when you're driving bad, or because you're laughing so hard at something that we say that's kind of stupid, which is pretty much the entire 60 minutes of the show.
Minutes, yes.
Yeah. Good to see that neither one of us have made any progress on doing anything new with our background.
Well, I came back. If you've noticed, I'm back in my normal studio.
Right.
Because this is a test. I think I told you this, but over Christmas, I got a Wi-Fi enhancement set. It's these these little tubes all over the house that enhance my Wi-Fi. So right now I'm looking at my iPad and I have all the bars you need for full Wi-Fi.
I was getting ready to ask, when does it start working?
Right. I hope it works. But I tested it before this all over the house, and everything was great. And I was so excited to come back down here. But I had dismantled my background and I moved some stuff. I got rid of a shelf and things have changed, right?
Right.
So today, about 20 minutes ago, I slapped together this background from just what I have. So the other stuff is here. I will probably put it back. I'll probably put back Kathy's sign for Music and More Records, which is sadly now closed. just to commemorate it because it was there for so long.
Absolutely.
But and a big part of this show for so long. But yeah, so I slapped it all together. Here I am. I've got all the bars, and I'm not buffering. I don't think, am I?
I'm sorry, you're froze. I didn't hear what you said.
Whatever.
Did you have to pull up a previous episode and watch it so you knew what to put in the background?
No, these are the three things I left on the wall, and I moved them.
Okay.
I just moved them so you can see something. Right now, you're seeing Rhonda. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, I forgot you were even there.
Yeah, right. And that was not my intent. That was just what happened.
Right. Well, I mean, whatever. Looks good. Here we are. I was going to go up to studio number 2, but we got 16 feet of frickin' snow out there. I wasn't going to trample through it with all the gear just to go up there and have a new background. I decided to stay here. I got a dog right here below me. She's asleep. She'll probably start snoring.
But you have you not, a German Shepherd?
Yes.
A Great Pyrenees?
Correct.
Right. And do you have some other giant dog or just the Chihuahua?
And a Husky.
And a Husky. I knew it.
Yes.
So why didn't you use them like a real man that wears flannel and put the sled together and truck your way up to the Garage Mahal?
Okay, well, number one, wearing the flannel doesn't make me a man. Today was Espanol Heritage Day, and we were watching a show on drug cartels. So I wanted to...
What?
What?
Wait. You were watching a show about Spanish heritage.
Drug cartels.
No, you were celebrating Spanish heritage by watching a show about drug cartels.
Just watching drug cartels, so I had to put on my flannel, S.A.
But that's not... Now you're going to talk the talk. Do you think that's all that goes on in Mexico?
No, I've been there. There's been a lot of stuff. There's some things I can't discuss and talk about, but no, there's more than that. But I was watching a drug cartel show and had to put on my flannel.
Oh. Do they wear flannels?
In all of the freaking drug cartel shows, yes. You're lucky I don't have a bandana with the knot right here.
I think that would hurt.
It would, I'm sure. I mean, I do have my pant. Never mind. But whatever. So to answer your question, the Husky's over there in her kennel that we leave open during the day. She's in there being lazy. The Shepherd is right down here. She's probably going to start snoring anytime. Who knows where the Chichihua is at? I don't even care. And then the Pyrenees is outside rolling in the snow. I can't tie anything to him. He just looks at me like, what? So no, it wouldn't have helped. I went to the Garage Mahal yesterday to ensure that there were no pipes burst in our sub-zero temperatures and everything else. And it hurt my feet. Should have put shoes on. Yeah.
I figured.
But whatever.
I'm just saying, I know. You could have tested out the German Shepherd's ACL. That's the one that tore the ACL, right?
Yes, not testing her. I'm not doing that. That was enough money to fork out to get the repair. We're not doing that again by testing it out. I would rather her stay in this 70-degree house and start snoring and be fine.
Well, I don't blame you. I was out in it plenty, shoveling snow in driveways and cleaning cars off the last 2 days. I worked job number 40 and stayed there 24 hours. 24 hours. You know why? The roads were terrible.
Yeah.
And get this, they paid us.
Really?
They paid us to stay there, believe it or not.
Huh.
Yeah.
Mrs. TBT couldn't get to work this morning because our roads over here in the middle of nowhere are still all jacked up. Because I left to put a little path through the driveway, which I'm pretty sure I missed the driveway entirely. Whatever. I still made it to the road and got out there, and it was nothing but ice. And we've got two really good hills that are around us to be able to get to. And no ice. So I turned back around and I was like, hey, you're lucky I got back barefoot without the husky. So
I don't know why you're not putting them to work clearing your driveway.
They have been by peeing on it. We had a pee off and I lost.
Yeah, right.
It's weird.
So yeah, hopefully all this will be gone in a week, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're supposed to get more on Friday.
That's what I heard.
Like 3 to 4 more inches. We don't need that.
Are you kidding?
No, I wouldn't shit you. You're my favorite turd.
Don't we live in the southern part of a southern kind of sort of middle western state?
That's as bad as saying and putting a freaking Salt Life sticker on your vehicle in landlocked Indiana. Just because we're in southern Michigan doesn't mean we're in the South.
No.
Natalie probably has a Salt Life sticker on her vehicle.
We are southern in the aspect that we are in southern Indiana. That's what I mean.
Which and then if you cross the border, we're now in northern Kentucky. So I mean, choose your poison. Whatever.
I went to Louisville just last week.
Okay.
Well, I was impressed. We took the long way around where we were going, and
I know. I remember seeing pictures of you going. It just yes.
And it was really nice. I was impressed how nice Louisville, Kentucky looked when you're not watching the news.
That's very true. That is very, very true. I haven't been down there in a while. I've been conserving fuel, so I haven't been driving very much.
Right.
You know, fuel costs. She just said, no, I don't. Oh, look, Natalie's in the chat finally. No, she doesn't. Oh, she does too. She's got Salt Life. She's probably got a t-shirt, Salt Life. Wears it out in the snow. I like Salt Life. Yeah, the freaking snow getting poured out of these trucks. Or at least the ones everywhere else, not in this neighborhood. How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
It was great.
Excellent.
Great. Lots of family, lots of people over. It was a good time.
Good. Our next holiday coming up is what? President's Day?
Sure.
Lincoln's birthday?
Yes.
Okay. Well, every day is a holiday for me. Just so you know.
But how is it supposed to be that way if your wife stays home all the time to watch you?
I don't know.
You know, you say she couldn't get to work, but I wonder if she's afraid to leave you alone for very long.
That is a very good possibility.
Because you are barely out of childhood.
Correct. I still run with scissors and play with matches.
That's right.
So, none of the dogs are burnt.
Not yet. Well, the Grand Pyrenees can't be burnt because it's covered in snow.
He'd go up like that. He'd go up like a cotton ball. Dipped in alcohol. Golly. Anyway. I think maybe we should do some news. I mean, we've already spent the first 15 minutes of this show just yapping about nothing. 2 things. Number one, before the end of the year, our last episode, which ended up having to get canceled because of outside interference, we'll call them jobs, it got canceled. So we were never able to discuss our at least top album of 2024. And I know both of us probably had a good list. I created a list and went through some of the ones that I liked. There were so many good albums. And I know we've got a bunch of other stuff that we got to cover tonight as well. But I want to touch base on those albums, or at least I don't want to call them, honorable mentions or anything, because these were the best ones in my opinion. And then I have my absolute favorite. And I'm going to assume I figure you do too. But going through this list, it shocked me that these albums actually had came out in 2024, because I think it was so early on. For example, The Other Side of Mars, which was Mick Mars, I think that came out in like February. And I had completely forgot that was a 2024 album.
Right. I think my top three all came out in, well, at least two of them came out in late winter, early spring.
Right.
And you kind of forget. I started a list when we talked about it and didn't get everything down, but I made a list of five notable records. And then I have some other ones sitting here, but
I have a list of 7 because I didn't have time to drop it to 5. Well, I guess I could have, had many weeks, but I didn't want to drop a single one of them. Actually it's 8, because I'd listen to one and we're going from one extreme to another, from like, classic 80s vocalist to, stuff that comes out today, that we hear on the radio these days, to guests that we've had on this show who, when you listen to their album and what they've done and what they've accomplished, it's like, daggone, that was freaking good. I did go look. If you guys remember, we had Red Rain on the show. Right. Had their drummer, and I went looking because I remember listening to that album, going, "Man, that was good." Went and looked. That wasn't 2024 album, because I was going to feel really, really bad, for leaving that off, because it was one that I really liked, and it wasn't even a 24 album. I think it was 23. So hopefully I mentioned it in 23. Go through your list.
Well, okay. So this is 5 that I picked. Number 5, and you mentioned having a guest on discussing this. Number 5 was Paralandra, The Body Electric. We had gotten a sneak preview of that record about 3 weeks before it came out.
Right.
And I know you and I played it over and over and over and went back and forth raving to each other about how good that record was. So that was number 5. 4, the Mick Mars record, Other Side of Mars, which was uniquely dark. And I forget the name of the vocalist he had on that record for most of it, but that guy was just awesome. So some good heavy stuff from Mick, especially coming out of that lawsuit news and all the things coming out with Motley Crue at the time. Let's see, number 3, the Dead Daisies, Light 'Em Up, because that's just a gritty, rough, and tough rock and roll record, right?
Yeah.
So, and I like supporting our buddy John Corabi. So number 3 on that one. Judas Priest at 2, Invisible Shield, which I don't know that there was a bad track on that record. And the bonus had, if you add the bonus, it was like 15 songs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another one we got early, a sneak peek, and played for a couple of weeks, and saw them twice on this tour, and they played 2 or 3 songs from that record. That record just rocks top to bottom. Yeah. My number 1 was Sebastian Bach, Child Within the Man.
Wow.
Because we loved that record. When I sent that to you, I think you were skeptical. And then you listened to it and you're like, man, you already said right then it could be record of the year.
Yeah.
Those were the 5 I had come up with when I was throwing this together, and then things happened, and so it may not be all complete. I feel bad I didn't get through the whole Linkin Park record when it came out, because I really wanted to listen to that and assess it. But most of the other stuff I had listened to. The Corey Taylor record came out. That was really good. It would have been on this list somewhere. The Bruce Dickinson record came out, the Mandrake Project. It might have been on this list. those were things I was playing with, but that was the 5 I came up with for this purpose.
Mine doesn't differ very much. I also have Judas Priest on my list. Invisible Shield, of course. I mean, good grief. Kathy even said the same thing. She said there was not a bad song on Priest. Absolutely. Along with Invisible Shield from Judas Priest, I also had The Body Electric from Paralandra. I also had Light 'Em Up, The Dead Daisies. Other Side of Mars from Mick Mars. And here's a few that I added in because they were still good, but they weren't my top. Garden of Earthly Delights from Cassandra's Crossing, such a good album. 10 from Mr. Big, and I was never a Mr. Big like super fan back in the day, and I think you and I have said this before. You know, as these albums come out from these bands that have been around for so long, it's the maturity. It's it's almost like now these bands seem to be more in it for the music instead of just, sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
And they know how to make a record now.
Right. I don't put it all on technology. I mean, sure, it's got something to do with it, but it's their maturity level. They're sitting there going, hey, it's time. And, here we are putting out good albums. I also had former guests. This one was one that I absolutely loved when it came out. Fury Made Flesh from Second Shooter.
Right.
Very good. Right. Just unique in its own way. Was very good. When We Were Kings from Stryper. Once again, they put something out that's it's classic Stryper. There's good metal, there's melodic tunes to it, and it's Stryper. I mean, you hear that, you're like, okay, well this could have been, part of In God We Trust back in whatever that was, 88, 89, something like that. But awesome. And no surprise here. My number one was also Child Within the Man from Sebastian Bach. You said it a while ago when you sent it to me. I was like, yeah, okay, it's Sebastian Bach. And I had heard a few other things that he'd done, and I was like, just whatever. Yeah. But holy moly, that one, if I had the CD, it would be scratched just from being played so much, or the tape would have to be rewound with a pencil.
And it's so interesting that he managed to put out such a good record in a year where you and I and everyone else did nothing but talk about Skid Row for numerous reasons.
Yeah.
And not because they were putting a record out. They had already done that. But they lose a singer. They did shows to fill that out with Lizzie Hale. That was big news. Right. Now they're looking for a singer. And then how many weeks were they asked, are you going to get back with Sebastian Bach and all this other stuff? Sebastian's coming back at them like, hey, it's time to do this. In the meantime, he shows he really doesn't need to do anything with them because he puts out this fantastic record that blows. No offense to Skid Row. I liked their last record, but it blows it away.
Yeah.
So.
And it's one that you can listen to and then come back a week later, listen to it again, and you're still not skipping any of the tracks.
Right.
It's a darn good. And in the words of one of our colleagues, damn good, just damn good. So that's what you missed. We would have went into a whole lot more detail at the end of the year, going into all these albums, maybe track by track or whatever. But yeah, who's got time for that? It's 2025. It's time to move on. So that's what we're doing. Speaking of albums, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Slippery When Wet. Let's go back a few years. Bon Jovi. In February of this year, February 28th to be exact, Bon Jovi will unveil their diamond certified best-selling third full-length album, Slippery When Wet, on vinyl and digital deluxe. The original album will be available in various configurations through their store, including an exclusive liquid-filled vinyl disc limited to 1,300 copies worldwide. I want to say that again. Liquid-filled vinyl disc.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but let's hope Metallica never does that with Load. So the deluxe edition includes a long sought after acoustic version of Wanted Dead or Alive, as well as 4 live recordings from the band's historic 1987 Slippery When Wet tour, 2 of which include an epic Let It Rock, have not been heard before. So the deluxe also boasts exciting previously unreleased mixes of Living on a Prayer, which was heard briefly in the band's hit documentary series, and a different version of Raise Your Hands, which I guess is called the Extended Obi O'Brien Mix.
Okay.
The Disc 1's going to feature the original album with the 10 tracks, ending with Wild in the Streets. The bonus tracks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different tracks, some live stuff, including that acoustic version of Wanted Dead or Alive. The acoustic version, and I don't see it on here anywhere. I'm wondering if that would be with. Well, it doesn't say. I'm looking just to see if it's going to be. Is it just John Bon Jovi, or is that with Richie?
You're talking about the version of Wanted Dead?
Yeah, the acoustic version.
I'm hoping that they already had one sitting around. They've been waiting to share with us, and it's one with Richie.
I hope so.
That's what I hope so, because that's the one everyone wants.
Yeah, I mean, you go right back to that MTV Music Video Awards performance, and that's what I want.
Right, and it looks like it's going to be a really, really good commemorative piece for a great record. But I want to ask if Kathy's paying attention to explain what liquid filled is.
Exactly what I was going to do, because she said that Jack White did the first liquid filled record like 10 years ago. What is liquid filled? I mean, I'm thinking of a vinyl record. Is it thicker so that you can put it in there? I mean, I'm confused.
Right. I don't know what that means. So if she's paying attention, she'll get back with us here in a minute. Maybe. If not, maybe look it up. But, and this is a diamond record that they are commemorating. This is the one that really, really put them on the map. It's the one we all know. So it deserves, a big deluxe treatment, and I'm glad they're doing it. She says that Jack White's record was filled with a red liquid, but it quickly evaporated.
You're not supposed to leave your records in the sun.
I guess not, but I guess it's something translucent, maybe, that the record is, and you can see the liquid.
I'm assuming so.
I'm fascinated, and then you buy it. I hope the technology's improved, because if I buy it and spend the money for this cool liquid filled record,
can you take it back and get a refill?
Right. I don't want it to go away.
It'd be like your propane tank runs out, and now all of a sudden you need to get a refill. Hey, I spent $89 on this record. Can I get a refill?
You bring it out to show your friends the cool liquid filled Bon Jovi Slippery When Wet commemorative record, and there's no liquid.
Yeah. Dude, your stuff sucks, man. It ain't got no liquid in it.
What'd you pay for that?
It's $89.99.
So yeah, I mean, you said in the teaser for this episode that you were going to make us all feel old.
Yeah,
this is where we start.
Absolutely. When did this come out? What year?
This would have been what, 86, right?
Gosh. Yeah. No, 87. 87.
Okay.
So I guess that does kind of lead right into it. There are numerous rock and metal albums this year that are turning 40. Okay. There's some that are 20, 30s, whatever, but going to 40. As I was going through some of this list, I'm sitting here going, wow, not like I needed to feel any older than what I do. But these albums, some of these that are on here just blew me away. Number one, because we are in South Central Indiana, John Cougar Mellencamp's Scarecrow turns 40 years old. This is, of course, the hit album with ROCK in the USA, Rain on the Scarecrow, Lonely All Night, and everybody's favorite song, Small Town.
And this record is significant in Mellencamp's catalog because it was a shift to a much more mature sound in his songwriting and that sort of. It's still that Heartland rock. Well, this was the Heartland rock record, right?
That was that was it.
This is it.
That's the fuse.
Right. Prior to that, of course, we had American Fool. We had great records, and then Scarecrow comes out though and elevates it, creates a whole new genre of rock that he pretty much owns for the next decade. So yeah, great record. At 40 years old, I played this to death.
Yeah,
played it to death.
And if you want your MTV, you can get your money for nothing, but your chicks ain't free. Dire Straits is also 40 years old. Brother in Arms is that album. Under Lock and Key from Dokken. Yeah, they just get better and better.
The Cult, Love, is on that list. Great record.
Kiss, Asylum, 40 years
really?
old. Yeah.
That's my favorite 80s Kiss record, Asylum.
And you were 20 when it came out.
No, I was not. I was not. I was in high school.
Here you go. Theater of Pain from Motley Crue. 40 years this year.
Yeah, right. The much maligned Theater of Pain. But still, I think it's better than most people think it is.
Totally.
I like it better than Girls, Girls, Girls for sure.
Invasion of Your Privacy from Rat. That was a surprise. I didn't realize that was 40 years old.
With my favorite album cover.
Oh, absolutely. Did you literally just, like, for real freeze on me? You did, but oh, there you are. Hey, and now you're gone. What have you done? Anyway, as we try to get Ace back, as he comes back in, there you are. Okay, your Wi-Fi tube of excellency needs moved.
We were doing so well. So well. What happened?
I don't know. Did somebody call you?
No.
Oh. That's what I feared it was. Crazy from the Heat, David Lee Roth, also 40 years. California Girls, Just a Gigolo, Easy Street. I mean, great, anthems that were coming off of these.
And the end of Van Halen, as everyone knew it.
Yeah.
I mean, which people are still torn over, still debating all that to this day.
Yeah. 40 years later.
Oh, Kathy's favorite band, Rush, Power Windows. Yeah. Turns 40.
Jeez. There's a bunch of them on there. I'm not... A Jagged Little Pill from Alanis Morissette.
Are you kidding me?
No. You ought to know.
I thought they came out much later.
Isn't that ironic? No. No doubt. Tragic Kingdom, with everybody's favorite song, Don't Speak.
Yeah, good song. Good record.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, Jagged Little Pill.
Yeah, I was just feeling very, very vulnerable as I was going through these, reading them. Van Halen Balance is 40 years old as well.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop. See, this is where it gets me, though. 17 Days, the album from Three Doors Down. And we just seen them not too long ago. 40
Yes.
years old.
Well, and you mentioned the Van Halen record, Balance, which is the last one Sammy did with Van Halen, and it seems like it was yesterday. Just seems like it was yesterday that they were putting that out.
Yeah.
And, the new singer in Van Halen put out his last record with that band 40 years ago.
Can I officially be depressed?
Absolutely.
Okay, I am. Good grief. We got to move on to like some more better information. Speaking of Van Halen, David Lee Roth on Christmas Day, which we didn't get a chance to discuss, gifted us an unexpected festive gift as he released a standalone version of a song that he originally attached to some Taylor Swift audio. He has released a new blues song called Forgiveness. In what's become almost standard practice for Diamond Dave, the song was released via his social media channels without fanfare, no explanation, just kind of leaving fans to wonder, what's it mean? Where did it come from? Who knows? Now, this song, Forgiveness, originally surfaced back in February of last year when he released Lavender Forgiveness, singing the lyrics for Forgiveness over the original audio from Taylor Swift's Lavender Haze.
So he's Weird Al?
No, because he's not like, Eat It or like a surgeon. He's not butchering them into some weird ass lyrics. He just, I don't know. This new version of that is now just called Forgiveness. It loses the Taylor Swift audio, and that has been replaced by an acoustic guitar. I don't know if it's asking for forgiveness from fans, if it's an offering. I have no idea. Some of the lyrics to this song include, I blew a fortune on cocaine and I caused my whole family heartache and shame. And when I was on the verge of going insane, I found forgiveness. Is it I don't know.
Is this a confession?
Could be.
It's profound.
There is a video out on the YouTubes if you want to check it out. We might put it on our social media, and then again, we might not.
I've not heard this, but you just don't know what to expect from Diamond Dave. He marches to his own beat for sure.
Only his acoustic beat.
Right, apparently.
I listened to it. That's about that. So I'll be honest with you. When I listened to it, it is an acoustic jam, and I thought, that could be on a Van Halen album.
Okay, really?
It's just it's the tone. It's the tone of the song. Yes, it's acoustic. Of course, it's David Lee Roth, but there's just a tone to it that I said, that could be on a Van Halen album as like a B-side next to last track that everybody skips anyway so they can get to the hard rockin' last one. But yeah, just give it a listen. See what you think.
how many songs did you skip on any Van Halen record, though?
0.
Exactly.
Well, except for the Gary Sharon one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like Extreme Halen.
He did put out a good record with Extreme in 2023. So there's that.
Exactly. Another big story coming out probably within the last, 2 days. Alter Bridge marked this blew me away too. I don't know where time is going. Alter Bridge marked their 21st anniversary as a band on Sunday, January 5th, by sharing big news that they are working on their next studio album, which they will be recording this year. On their social media posts, they said, 21 years ago on this day, again, January 5th, we formed Alter Bridge. Thanks to all our fans for sticking with us, and we are going to record a new album this year. Very excited for the future. Mark Tremonti also shared the post and added, thanks to all the fans, I'm already writing the new album as we speak. We will be ready to get together and record in March. So
think about that.
Exactly.
Think again. This band spawned out of the breakup of Creed 21 years ago. And who did we just see reunite last summer?
Right.
Creed. I'm just blown away at the passage of time sometimes, because Alter Bridge, it doesn't feel like they've been around that long.
No.
Not to me. Not to me.
Well, and he says they're going to start recording in March, which I hope they get a lot done, because April, May, June, July, 4 months later, Creed is back on tour.
Right.
For 2 months.
So if you want to promote this, you've got to record it and get it ready and ship it out, and then do a short tour, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how you fit that in. Or do you do it afterward, after Creed?
Oh, totally afterwards.
You would have to.
Yeah, because right now I'm looking at their dates. Right now, August 20th is the last show for Creed on the Return of the Summer of '99 tour, their 2025 North American leg. Tons of dates starting July 9th and running through August 20th. So what do? Nothing in August? Are we gonna look for an Alter Bridge tour in 2026? What happens with Creed? What if Creed decides, maybe we should do an album? Could you have a double tour?
Ooh.
With Creed and Alter Bridge.
That would be fun. That would be tiring for everyone but Miles. But
sure.
It'd be fun.
But that's I don't know how you'd pull that off. That would be kind of cool. I would definitely go see that. If you don't know, this leg of their tour starts off in Lexington, Kentucky on July 9th, running through July, hitting all kinds of places. New Orleans, July 26th. Albuquerque, New Mexico, August 4th. Looks like they're doing some West Coast stuff. Totally skipping Vegas. Auburn, Washington, August 14th, and finishing August 20th in Calgary, the home of Bret Hart.
This is, this type of thing used to, and we talk about this a lot, used to you were in a band. That was it. If you wanted to break away and do a solo project or a side project, that was treason in a rock band. And now people are involved in many, many things. I think something like this is so good for rock. The fact, you're getting more quality music from great musicians doing all sorts of different things. an Alter Bridge record doesn't sound like a Creed record at all. And they're still the same people, basically, in essence. Especially the guy writing the songs, Tremonti, with input from Miles Kennedy, or Tremonti with input with Scott Stapp. It can only be good for rock and roll and good for rock fans. I think it's great that these guys are involved in so many things. Why wouldn't I want to hear more of what Tremonti wants to do? He's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, the talent is ridiculous. So Creed 2025, maybe get an Alter Bridge tour in 2026. See, we had a bunch of good tours last year.
Right.
I mean, we had a bunch that we hit that were just awesome. Now, 2025 may be the year to just see what happens. I think 2026 is going to come back and blow us out of the water again. Another tour that's been talked about for 2026, and there was actually an article put out on this, is going to be the return of Poison for their 40th anniversary tour in 2026. That's going to be probably a 40-plus date show or tour.
That has the potential to be as big as the Sammy tour that we saw.
Oh,
where
absolutely
people are just flooding to go see Sammy and Michael Anthony and Satriani, and they're playing the old Van Hagar, Van Halen stuff. This has got that potential because when is the last time we've seen Poison together other than the stadium tour? And if you didn't go to that, you didn't see him.
Well, that was it. I mean, it's the stadium tour. I think they did some things, a little bit prior to that. But once the stadium tour was over, that was it. Because Bret Michaels is out doing his party girl stuff.
Right.
With silicone and whiskey.
Okay.
So yeah, we're talking, that was what, 2022? When the stadium tour ended?
Yeah, something like that.
So
again, passage of time, it's hard to say. It's all the same to me.
Yeah. Right now, Bret Michaels is quoted as saying the 2026 would be the perfect time for a Poison 40th anniversary tour with 40, sticking with the theme here, 40 awesome limited dates to go out, play real live hit songs, and rock the world. I would go to that no matter where it was at, as long as it was close.
Right. Yeah. You and I've talked about this. I'm not up for driving forever to see somebody, but, I'll go a fair distance. But there's people that would go to a couple states away to see somebody. I mean, Taylor Swift proved that.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. But I think it's going to be huge. It could be the big one of that summer. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. It's a long way off.
So here's this is kind of along the same thing. With talking about Poison, did you realize that C.C. DeVille, guitarist for Poison, almost joined and became the guitarist for Stryper?
Right. I read about that in the great book, Nothing But a Good Time.
Right.
And I think we discussed it briefly between ourselves. And it's such a crazy thing to think about C.C. DeVille in that band.
And what's even funnier to me, as a huge fan of Poison and, all the antics from the 80s and 90s that were going on, the funny part for me is that CC basically turned him down because of the whole yellow and black thing.
Which they had just started doing.
Right.
They were trying to find use a wrestling term, a gimmick to differentiate themselves a little bit. And they come up with this yellow and black scheme. And I think that was a bit of a overwhelming for CC. This is a guy who tints his hair pink and then blows it to the sky with a hairdryer. That's a little too much. that yellow and black.
Yeah, by golly. And Robert Sweet, it was his big thing was the whole yellow and black. And they say that no matter how good CC was, if he couldn't wear the colors, he wasn't going to be in the band. CC politely declined the opportunity, stating he really wasn't digging the yellow and black thing, and he was more of a pink and purple kind of guy.
Right, right. You know, and big fur coats and feather boas and whatever. But
yeah.
You know, and the funny thing, it all works out in the end. But again, if you read the book, Nothing But a Good Time, it goes into deep, deep detail about these bands in their early days and how these guys moved around band to band to band before they found their spots. You know, George Lynch was with Rat for a little while. You know, DeMartini was with Dawkins for a little while or something like that. You know, always just going back and forth until they found the right fit.
Well, and a perfect example of that as well is Slaughter. We've got a little bit of news here on them. But Slaughter, which was formed in 1988 from what was left of the Vinnie Vincent invasion, because Dana Strum and Mark Slaughter were both part of Vinnie Vincent invasion. When that disbanded, they formed their own, which ended up being Slaughter. And news that came out just the other day in regards to Slaughter, during a short interview on the SiriusXM Hair Nation New Year's Eve special, Mark Slaughter spoke about the status of the band's Long in the Works documentary, and states that they're embarking on a biopic. And as hard as it is to herd cats, they're trying to make it all work, and they're getting there, and they're on their way with it. So I'm not sure if it's going to be this year, but they are working on things. And for me, I think it's kind of interesting because Slaughter is just one of those bands that you just don't hear about a lot, even when they were, topping the charts with, Fly to the Angels and all that.
Right.
Great album. Their stuff is awesome. It's catchy. It's rock and roll. It's the stuff you're going to just jam to, going down. Unfortunately, they lost their original guitarist, I think back in 1998.
Wow.
Yeah, he was killed in a car accident. And if you listen to, was it Up All Night? Was that the name of the album?
Stick It To You.
Or Stick It To You, yeah. I thought it was a great album. Party rock, kind of Poison-esque.
Yeah, it was a good record, especially for the time that it came out.
Yeah, and Mark Slaughter's just got one of those unique voices like Tom Kiefer. I'm not comparing the two, but it's just a unique voice.
Right. When you hear him, you know it's Mark Slaughter.
Yeah. What a good album. So now they're going to do this biopic, which I'm pretty excited about because I don't know a whole lot of the history other than where they came from with Vinnie Vincent.
Right. And their body of work is a bit limited also. I'm not sure how many records they actually have, but it's not many. Maybe 4 or 5, maybe. I know they put 3 out in that initial run. When the grunge was coming in and wiping everything out. And those albums got lost in the shuffle. The Wildlife was the second record. You don't hear anything about that record, even though I think it had a couple good singles off of it. This will be done well. It'll be professional. That's what I like about these bands when they put out their own biopics. It's their side of the story. It's slanted a bit toward the way they want it to be, which is fine, but you're getting more of that band than maybe what you would get on Behind the Music.
Right.
Or something like that. So I like it. It'll be an hour and a half of celebrating the history of that band. And it'll be fun.
Yeah. Slaughter put out 5 albums, with Stick It To You released January 27th, 1990. So we're coming up on the anniversary of that one as well. 2 times platinum. And then their next one was only gold. And then the last 3 just really didn't register. The last one was back in 1999, Back to Reality. And of all of the singles they've had, of course, everybody remembers Flight of the Angels more than anything because, you know, it was time for ballads and all that fun stuff.
Everywhere. Desperately is the one I like from that record.
Oh, absolutely. Very good. Very good. Where are we at on time? We got about 5 minutes left. And I know one of the big things you wanted to bring up was this stuff that's going on with Bryan Adams.
It's older news. We discussed that. But I just find it interesting because Bryan Adams is putting out a record probably this year. It's already in the can. It's I think around Christmas he was doing some of the artwork for the cover, and it's already got a title. I think it's Roll with the Punches, I think is what he said it was called. This is unique in a sense that Bryan Adams has broke away from his manager that he's had, 40 some odd years.
Right.
He has got his own record label. He's managing himself, and he's taking control of his career in a much more hands-on way. And one of the things he said is that this record coming out is going to be a rock record. He wanted to make a rock record. What does that mean? You know, but if you listen to Bryan Adams after 18 Till I Die was the last real rock record he put out. Yeah. And then everything's kind of adult oriented AOR rock, you know, just light and fluffy kind of stuff, and not what you want to hear from a classic rock staple. But he did it for years. He's got, how many albums does he have? 15, 14?
Yeah, at least. But it's not just the albums he has; it's the songwriting credits that he has for other bands, some of which are very rock. Kiss.
Right, like Kiss. Right. You know, this is the man that wrote War Machine. And what was the other one?
Rock and Roll Hell and Down on Your Knees.
Yeah, which is a great title, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, for him to come out and say after ditching his management, starting a label, taking control of things, I want to put a rock record, and then I heard further in a recent interview. I can't remember where, but he said he had listened for a very long time to some of the wrong people or some bad advice on what he should be doing as an artist. And I love the honesty of that, because I'm sitting here as a Bryan Adams fan wondering why all these years I'm just listening to this light, fluffy, soft AOR stuff, you know, adult rock. And why aren't you putting out a rock record? It doesn't have to be Reckless 3.0, but something similar, right?
Yeah.
And it happens to so many bands. Bon Jovi has done it, where they don't rock like they used to. Of course, they're older, but still, you could do something. Yeah. Goo Goo Dolls is another example, who I love. You know, they are very just adult orientated. It's like made for housewives or something. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. You know, I don't know how to put it, but it's just like, where's your rock cred? Where did it go? So that's the point I wanted to make, was that it was just nice to hear Bryan Adams come out and say that he wanted to put a rock record out. And he is emphasizing the fact that this one rocks, like it's a rock record. So I really can't wait. It's going to be out, I'd say probably by March. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's probably going to be within the first quarter. And not just that, that means we're probably going to get a Bryan Adams tour.
Yeah, he's already got tour dates up, most of them in Europe, but I heard he was touring the States at some point.
I'm hoping he does, and I'm hoping that he does places like Brown County.
That would be fine.
To me, I think that's too small a venue for him, but I'll go up to Noblesville and see him if we have to.
Right. The last tour he was on for the U.S. that was slated was with Bon Jovi. He was opening with Bon Jovi or co-headlining, and that was going to be, I think it was 2020, and COVID came. Because we were going to buy tickets. I was so excited. Look what you're getting.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine for 2 straight sets, you're going to know every song. Every song. and I couldn't wait for it, and then it got canceled. So
Yeah.
so hopefully he comes around somewhere where you and I can go, and this record's great. That's what I'm hoping for. That's my first big hope of 2024 musically, is this great Bryan Adams record.
Or maybe 2025.
2025. I'm old, and I forget what day it is.
Well, this has been the first episode of 2025.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate everybody stepping in. We plan on being back next week, so make sure you tune in. If you have questions, be sure to hit us up. You can email us, hit us up on any of our social medias. We're on all of them, I think. I don't think we check them, but we're on them. And I don't really have a joke to go to end the show. So that's my New Year's resolution, is to not be funny.
All year?
All year long.
I don't think you can pull that off. I hope not, anyway.
Well, there is this one thing, though.